Hello everyone. I just had to do a quick check to make sure like the thing was recording. There's also kind of recording because mic was not working as well, so I had to fix some settings. And we're gonna record this. First game is Titans versus Saints. Titans won 30 to Saints 27. Pretty close game for round. More offensively focused, not a lot of like really many like defensive notes to really point out. And Titans. All the quarterbacks played really well. 21 for 27 passes for 283 yards and 2 touchdowns. So 2 touches coming from Malik Willis. And also most of all the rushing yards. Malik Willis rushed 3 times for 31 yards. But Mason Rudolph rushed for 2 times and got a -3, so 5 for 28 for a total. I mean, not bad for a collective. Tony Ballard, 5 carries for 17 touchdowns, for 17 yards and a touchdown. Wow. No, he did not score 17 touchdowns. That would be crazy. 2 receptions for 14 yards is pretty good. And Bryce Oliver, 3 receptions for 52 yards plus 2 touchdowns. He was kind of the one who's been catching up for them. So, yeah, overall, like, pretty solid game for the Titans. They just kind of like airly squished by Jacob Kibodi with 12 rushes for 59 yards and 2 touchdowns, a reception for 13 yards. And Equimus, yes, I understand he played from the Bears. I still can't pronounce his name. Hard ass name. Equimius St. Brown, 3 receptions for 40 yards and a touchdown. Pretty good for him. I like the fact to see he's kind of playing well on a new team. Honestly, like my only take for this was who I feel like the quarterback we should Titans. I think Willow should be the starter. I think it's pretty obvious. I feel like most NFL fans would kind of say that Will Levis should be the starter because he's been the most effective as a passer, really. And also like his last year play when like towards the end of the season should help him out really. I think it really should be able to like qualify him for it. And it's just like Fred's preseason. Even then, he was playing like super well. So honestly, I feel like he deserves a starting spot. And I feel like the fact he played kind of shows there's still the base to it, which we understands because I think the QB2 should be Malik Willis. Because overall, he's a good passer. Like he's a good passer. He can make some good reads, and also his rushing ability is the best out of all of them. Which I also feel like that's kind of like another thing. I feel like that's another thing kind of like notice in like the preseason. A lot of these dual threat quarterbacks are having their time to shine. I think these are going to be like more of like the new like wave of it, where it's going to be a lot of like teams are going to have a QE2 in the back. Mainly because of the fact they can have a whole different setup in the offense with a guy like Malik Willis, who can not only pass pretty solid but also has incredible legs under him. So yeah, I feel like for that reason, still dying from this cough. I hate it. But I feel like for that reason, I think Malik Willis should be QB2. And I think Mason Rudolph should, by default, be QB3. Because I'm sorry. Everyone knows him as a guy who got absolutely bonked in the dome by Myles Garrett. And I think because of that, I think we really shouldn't like have that high of expectation. And also, there should be about 2 times that his mic kind of peaked a little bit. That's not my fault. I'm subbing a little bit back. But yeah, no, honestly, he fits the timeline more as like a mentor figure than anything else. And honestly, I think the order is Will Levis, Malik Willis, and Mason Rudolph. Game 2, Cardinals versus Broncos. Broncos kind of blew him out the whole time. It was 38-12, and Bo Nix did not play, so he's kind of the starter, so I think it kind of like makes sense for him to do it. Cardinals, their quarterbacks had 22 for 34 passes for 230 yards and an interception. Aslan Hall, 19 rushes for 59 yards and a touchdown. Xavier Weather, 2 receptions for 56 yards. Zach Wilson, 16 for 25 passes for 251 yards, 2 touchdowns. and 2 carries for 22 yards and a touchdown. Yeah, he was playing really fucking well this whole game. Like, really well, honestly. Uh, Brandon Johnson, 2 receptions for 83 yards and a touchdown was pretty good. And Livy Bailey, 2 tackles, a pass deflection, and a pick six that led to 94. That was our 94 yards. That was kind of like the salt in the wound for the Cardinals at that point. So yeah, really good game on these Broncos, really. And honestly, like my take for it is, I think Zach Wilson should honestly be QB2. He should honestly build a. Uh, yeah, Zach Wilson should be QB2. Sorry, I had to check something on my phone real quick. He's been playing well for his time playing, and I think he's getting a lot of opportunities just because I think Jared Stidham is not playing as well, and also testing Bo Nix. Um, and yeah, no, I honestly think a guy like Zach Wilson, he's still a good passer, and I think he also has pretty good running abilities for it. So again, he kind of matches the mold of what I think these teams are gonna go for in their QB2s. However, it's he was also the second pick, so no one really expected this from him to a degree. So yeah, no, he's still one of the biggest busts of all time. But I feel like Zach Wilson on his time in the Broncos could honestly just maybe reinvent himself in a way. Kind of be more of that high QB2, low QB1 kind of level quarterback, which honestly I feel like for him would have been a fair thing for it. Because for this year, I would be surprised if he just takes his time to develop his game and then goes into free agency trying to look for these teams that doesn't really have a confirmed quarterback, like the Raiders is a good example of one. Another one would be the Vikings, depending on how much JJ McCarthy takes for time off. Another good example would probably be, what else is a good example? Not Cardinals. Let's see, we got Raiders. We got Vikings. Saints. Saints is a good example of one. Really good example of one, honestly. And yeah, no, I think after this year, I think he could probably lobby himself in order to be in kind of in good contentions for a pretty good team. And the last game is Patriots versus Commanders. Patriots lost 10 to Commanders 20. Very close game up to the fourth quarter where Commanders scored 17 straight points. Yeah, they completed a comeback of humongous degrees. And honestly, it was a really boring game. So there wasn't a lot of takes really for it. So I don't think there's very much to be shared. And notable players: Drake Maya, 13 for 20 passes for 126 yards and a touchdown. The fact this man is still playing and not confirmed starter is a little concerning because it's who else are you gonna have him playing with it? Joe Milton, Jacoby Brissett. The only one that's actually kind of fair is Bailey Zappi. Really, he's the only one that's kind of fair. But the fact he's still playing is still kind of crazy. Christian Ellis had 11 total tackles, and Joe Gills Harris had 5 total tackles, a pass deflection, and an interception. And Commanders, Trace McSorley led the team in both passes and rushing yards. For passes, 12 for 21 for 125 yards and a touchdown, and 4 rushes for 30 yards. And Michael Willie, 7 rushes for 26 yards and a touchdown. Pretty good, honestly. Overall, it was a pretty good game. There wasn't really, like I said, there wasn't really much to note because Commanders just out of nowhere just went, oh, we're just gonna score 17 points out of nowhere. And I think it was just more because it was a lot of third and fourth stringers that are kind of playing, so it's not really as big of a deal, really. That's just my opinion. And the next set of games won't be until Thursday, where it'll be Chiefs versus Ravens. That's the season opener. Yeah, so pretty excited for the game. probably gonna break that game down like quarter by quarter, really, because it's just one game. And then maybe for like the more teams, I'll probably just break it down like more like these type of setups, which is probably will be my plan, really. In between that time, honestly, probably more anime content and maybe hypothetical. I know I've been like saying that since the beginning that there's gonna be some hypotheticals, so maybe I'll actually be able to post one. I know I've been working on a couple, so depending on which one feels good enough to kind of post, I'll just post that and just see how that goes. Dying, but we're still surviving. But no, yeah, honestly, that's about like really like it for like today's like reaction. So I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to like subscribe for more daily sports content, and I hope you really enjoy. Come see you guys later tomorrow for mixed martial arts tier list. Later, everyone.